Well, hi and welcome back. So, as you know, I'm Sophie Musumeci from Real Entrepreneur Moms, and I'm joined by our very, very, very special co-host today, Nicole Tawarrick. Now, you're either that way or that way on my screen. I always get it wrong, depending on which.
Hello.
Yeah. Welcome, Nicole. So good to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, so today, ladies, we are doing day two. So day two is all about your 12-month goals. So if you haven't already done session one, which was yesterday, make sure you stop right now, go back and do that session. There's no skipping over this stuff. That we are doing this in a strategic, purposeful way, taking you through so that you absolutely are setting yourself up for the next 12 months so that you can smash those goals. But if you haven't already done the vision and belief session, there's no point jumping into 12-month plan, because your vision is going to help you looking at where is it that you are going in the future. And then this is what we're doing. We're now chunking that down to go, okay, so if you know that's where you're heading, what is it that you need to focus on and do in these next 12 months to really set up those foundations or that core part of your business to elevate to that over the coming years? Yeah?
Yeah.
So go back and do that if you haven't already. But otherwise, get ready. You've got your workbook. So keep working through that with us on the session. And as you know from the last session, we'll tell you when to hit pause and to go and do some work on it and to come back as well. So, and you're part of the Pop-Up Facebook group. So make sure that you're sharing, what your goals are, your vision is, and ask us any questions in there. Nicole, myself, and Bianca will all be hanging out in there to answer any questions that you've got. So we're giving you the tools, we're giving you the coaching, the support, the workbook. It comes down to you actually using what we're giving you. Because, Nicole, how many people have you coached before? And you can help them, but ultimately, it's up to them.
Absolutely. If you don't do the work, nothing is going to happen. I can absolutely tell you that.
Absolutely. All right, so guys, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get cracking in on today's session. And where are we? There it is. Let's go. So welcome to Plan Like a Boss, your session number 2, going into 12-month plans. Before we get started, I want to reintroduce you to Jane, who we spoke about yesterday. So remember, Jane, during training sessions, she loves to write a couple of notes, make some scribbles. She'll probably fast forward some of this. She probably thinks that I'm waffling on too much. And she'll think about doing some of the actions that we talk about. But you know what? At the end of the day, she's not going to do anything that we've spoken about today. Nicole, how many Janes have you met before?
I've met many, many Janes.
Way too many Janes. And if Jane's got big goals, she needs to get her butt into gear and stop being a Jane. Because what happens is she then starts to think that, maybe she just can't do it and it doesn't work for her. And the reality is just the difference between her getting on and doing what we're telling you to do. So guys, don't be Jane. Don't be Jane. Be Mary. Remember Mary, my mum? I think it's quite funny I called her Mary. So during this training, Mary is going to take a lot of notes. She's going to pause. She's going to go and do the sections as we tell her. She's going to follow it step by step. And she's going to read over her notes and really make sure that it's being absorbed into her brain. And it's just becoming part of who she is. Because planning, strategy, all of this stuff, it doesn't come just naturally to so many of us. So you have to learn and work at it, because practice makes perfect. She's going to ask lots of questions in the pop-up group. We're going to know exactly who our Marys are, aren't we, Nicole?
Yes, it's very obvious.
Mary will let us know who she is. And like I said, she's going to study what we're teaching her, and she's going to just get into action and do what we say. Practice again and again is what makes her become really great at this. And she's going to see results in her business. That's it. The difference between those people who are Mary and those that are Jane, they get the results because they actually go and do what we teach. Let's be Marys, all right? So before we start, everyone commit. I'm going to be Mary.
I'm going to be Mary.
I'm going to be Mary. All right, let's go be Mary. I'm going to kick over to Nicole. Now, when I was looking at who would be the best person to do goal setting with you guys, I was like, it's got to be Nicole. And the reason is that Nicole has had a massive vision for her life and her business, right? So if you think about module 1, session 1, big vision, which was, and I'll let Nicole go into this a little bit deeper, but I'll just share a little bit of the story. Nicole was working for one of the top consulting companies in Australia, very senior role. As you know, in those firms, you work ridiculous hours, and Nicole's vision was always to start her own business, replace that income. And very recently, Nicole was able to say bye-bye to her consulting gig and now runs her own business. So that just didn't happen overnight. It came down to vision, planning, and getting her butt into gear, doing what other people just weren't willing to do, working those extra times at night time, in and around the nap times, because you've got a little girl as well, right? You've got 2 little girls. So that's what it takes. Nothing happens overnight just because, oh, you're smart or you know the right people. It comes down to planning and action and just going for it, Nicole, and not making up excuses. So I'm so glad that you joined us on this program. So I'm going to hand over to you, Nicole, if you want to share a little bit about yourself, and then let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, hey, I'm Nick Tuerick. I am the CEO and founder of Nick Tuerick Coaching and creator of Conflicted to Confident, which is my signature course. And I work with mums like you. I work with professional mums who are wanting to get out of that corporate rat race and wanting to start their own businesses and really make an impact. And the thing that really drives me is it changes who we are as a person when we really start to get right about our purpose and really know what we stand for and how we want to be showing up in life. And actually what goes hand in hand in that is you can't actually succeed in your business unless you figure that stuff out. And so as I've worked with more and more women, the things that I have focused on have really, really evolved, and mindset and belief and confidence and really knowing what you stand for are fundamentally like the number one things that you have to get right, which is why if you haven't done the first part of this course, you need to go back and do it, because if you don't get your vision and your belief right, you can set goals, and I'm going to show you how to set goals. Anybody can set goals, but unless you really believe in what's possible and unless you have this driving, you know how when you really, really, really want something and you can just feel it in the middle of your tummy, like it's just this really driving need to get to that place that you're trying to get to. That's what that vision exercise is about. And when you're starting from a place like that and then setting your goals, gosh, it just completely changes what you're prepared to do and how you're prepared to show up every single day to make that thing happen, no matter what other people are saying. So if you don't feel like that about the vision that you set for yourself, stop this video right now and go back and have another look at that and really do some soul searching, because it really is important. But once you, I don't have slide control, so I'll just get Soph to do that for me. Perfect, thank you. And once you do that, then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how to set goals to make that happen. So I want to focus, or I want to recap rather, on a couple of the things that Bianca said. And number one was, what you focus on is what you achieve. And I think that this is a good one to take away and really think about, because once you've gone through your vision building exercise and you know where you want to be in 5 years, I call it ideal life as well. You know, what does that ideal life look like? Can you touch it and smell it? And, you know, we have this vision. We're going to live on an acre in the foot of the Dandenong Hills. We're going to build a home to live there as a family. Jeff and I will both be working from home. I know what my kitchen looks like. You know, I can, when I get into my vision for my ideal life, I know what that day looks like. You know, we get up together as a family, we walk the girls to school, Jeff and I come home, we have coffee together at the kitchen bench and talk about our day. We get out in the garden, I'm probably doing some client work at some point during the day. Like, I can touch it and feel it and smell it. And that vision is so strong for me that it made it really easy to do the things that I needed to do to get there. And the other thing that's really important that I want you to think about is I almost didn't get there. And the reason that I almost didn't get there is because I had in my head everything about what I was working towards being tied up in the success of my business. And you might be able to recognize this kind of feeling, right? Well, when I get this many clients, then I'll be able to do that. When my business is successful, then my life is going to look like this. When I have this amount of revenue in my business, then I'll be able to do those things. And we make the success of our business the entire gateway into us achieving what that ideal life looks like, when in actual fact it is just one piece of the puzzle. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about in a second is figuring out what you're going to do differently to bring your ideal life forward and closer, and then figure out how to weave your business into the story. And let me give you an example. So we were living in Queensland. I was in that corporate job that Soph was talking about. I had a 6-month-old baby at the time. Eliana was my youngest. I was in the middle of clawing my way back out of postnatal depression. So by no means was in, the most amazing place I've ever been in. But we kind of went, oh, hang on a minute. Well, I don't need my business to be successful for us to be near family. We could just move. And I don't need my business to be successful to change the way that we are structuring our family. We could just shift that. And so we sold our house. I got a transfer with my job, which actually I'm eternally grateful for. And I firmly believe actually that everything happens for a reason. And did you know, for all of you out there who are sitting there absolutely resenting the hell out of your job, that women who work part-time or full-time and build their business on the side are 30% more effective and more efficient at getting shizzle done. So that is something to take away. One of my coaches along the way over the last 12 months pointed that out to me, and I did not like her very much for saying it at the time, but it's 100% true.
Can I just jump in? So I absolutely agree with you. So I, as most of you know, work part-time. I still consult, hang on, I'll put my camera back on. I still consult a couple of days a week. And that just allows me, one, I'm so connected. I'm constantly learning through what I'm doing. And I'm actually able to share the culture that we're building in Real Entrepreneur Mums through our community into the corporate world. And they're just like, wow, that's so good. That's, are you really doing that? So I've been able to help them with opening their eyes around culture and vision and, how do you want to work together because of the culture that we've set here. And then vice versa, that's worked out really well. And from a financial perspective, it's just taken some of that extra pressure off of my husband. So, because in business, I think we think it's just going to happen so quickly. And, you get to the first 12 months and you realize you haven't made, replaced a full-time corporate income. And you're like, oh my God, I have to go back to my full-time job. But by being working part-time, it's taken off that pressure. And so I can still contribute financially to my family and then reinvest everything that I need to for my business so I can reach the big goals that I've got without, taking the money out too early. So I completely agree.
Yeah, it's super, super smart. And actually, I highly recommend to most of my clients that they consider doing that because for that second point that you just made, so if you can reinvest in your business, it means that you're not constantly bootstrapping and trying to find the cheapest way possible to do the thing. You're actually building the business with the tools that you need to be the business you want it to be in the future. Yeah. Rather than, having all those growing pains. I'm still working. I'm just not working for corporate anymore, and I'm working on my terms. And actually, I'm making more money doing it, which has completely freed up what we're able to do as a family. We now own the property we're going to be living in Gembrook. We've just got it rented out for a while until we're ready to build, So my whole story here is, and we can go to the next slide and I'll dive into it. My whole story here is think about how you can start to make that vision a reality now. When we moved to Victoria, we made the decision not to buy a property straight away. We were debt-free for a while, which meant that with my business and my corporate role, I was able to bring Jeff home from work. That was something that was really important to us. And so 6 months into living in Victoria, so we're 12 months in now, 6 months ago, I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, actually, we're so close to that ideal life. I cannot tell you how amazing that felt to realize that the business was one part of the puzzle and I was making everything happen Now, I believe in energy. I do believe that, you get what you focus on. Manifesting the things that you're looking for in life is really just about you taking action in the right ways and believing in what's possible. So that's what this bit's about, okay? This is where you get your workbooks out and we start to talk through this. So when you think about that vision, let's talk about how you make that a reality. Write down which parts of your vision will be part of your reality in the next 12 months. So maybe you're just doing less. Well, Dal, you can start doing less now. You just got to say no to some stuff. Maybe it's a big thing like living somewhere different. Or maybe you're not going to be living in that massive house anymore because actually you really just want something that's manageable. Maybe you're going to be doing a different type of work. Maybe you're going to change the daycare arrangements for your kids. Maybe. So we live in this little duplex in Melbourne. We have like about 3 square feet of garden. That might be a slight exaggeration, but we love gardening. And so we have this incredible pot garden out there now. And so we've managed to bring that, growing our own veggies thing into how we're living right now. There are things that you can do right now that will bring that vision to life right now. Okay, and that might be for your business too. Maybe you're going to change some stuff about how you're working, and we'll get into that with your business goals as well. But I want you to think right now about the things that you can do to find you're happy, really, because if you're not happy now, it doesn't matter how much money and success you manage to achieve through your business. That's not going to bring you happiness. You have to find your happiness in your present and find a way to influence how you're feeling. Get the help you need if you need help. For me, in my journey, that meant going to a doctor and getting the help I needed to get out of postnatal depression. If that's you, then make that part of your reality and commit that you're going to find the help and the support that you need. Community is really important. So the next slide has you bring that down into the next 6 months as well. And just bring it closer and just get brave enough to change some stuff. All right, I need you to say out loud with me, Nick, I promise that I'm going to change some stuff and not put all the pressure on my business. Your business, you may have been in business for a while, but it's probably still a baby or a toddler or maybe a preteen, okay? So don't put all the pressure on your little baby business to, get you to this big, massive life vision and ideal life. All right, let's get into the business stuff then. So as I said, your business is just one piece of the puzzle. So that was all about what you can change right now in how you show up every day. So just stop and think for a second. In all those things that I said about what I could change and bring my life, my vision, my ideal life forward, were you talking about how you're going to show up differently? Because that was really important for me as well. I had to think about, well, who is the CEO that my business needs me to be? Not my business right now, but the business that I plan to have in 5 years' time. Because that chick, she really needs to be bringing it. And I need to be bringing my A game every day. I need to be making the right decisions that are about growth and leverage. I need to be bringing those decisions into the types of clients that I take on, the type of work I take on, whether I create new products or don't, all of that kind of stuff. And so that's what I want you to take away here as well, is when you're doing that, think about how you need to show up every day. Okay, and you're going to revisit this in the 4th part of this training. Bianca's going to come back and talk to you about habits and, what you need to be doing every day, and she'll touch on that again. So start thinking about it now so that you're set up for success in that one. Okay, it's really time to challenge yourself, my friend. All right, next we are getting into a big pause here. Okay, so I've talked all about that. If you haven't done it yet, then pause this video right now and go and fill all of that out, because it's really important that you do that before we get into the business goals part. Otherwise, you're just going to go straight to tactical business action, and I don't want you to do that. Okay, so pause now. All right, did you do that? I hope you did that. I hope you're not just watching this going, Nick, for God's sake, stop talking about pausing. I just want to get through this training, because like we talked at the start, you need to be like, Mary. Don't be like Jane. Make sure you're taking action. Alrighty. Next, we are talking about your primary business goals. Now, the way that I think about what you're achieving in your business is, instead of getting back into, well, what do I want my business to achieve? I link everything back to that ideal life. So it's a working backwards exercise. There's a reason that we did vision first, okay? Vision, ideal life, what's that going to look like? Build it. What can I change now? What's my personal plan? What am I going to shift? All right, the question you're answering is, what does your business need to deliver for you in the next 12 months? Not what do I think I can achieve. So for me personally, to get to where we want to get to, we've bought the property, we want to build a house. So I know exactly what I need to make through my business to be able to fund what we want to do there. That's what my business needs to deliver for me in the next 12 months. Now, if I just set an arbitrary growth goal from now, I might not set a number that's as big, or I might set something that's not really tied to my ideal life. It's really hard to go and achieve one of those. And we'll talk more about that in the 90-day goal section, which is the next training. But what I have found is that if I just set myself an arbitrary goal and I don't have it linked back to what I really want, my ideal life, I don't do what it takes. I just don't. You need to have the intention set for it. So work it backwards. So what are the 5 things then? And you'll see in your workbook there's a table to work through what those top 5 goals are going to be that your business needs to deliver for you in the next 12 months. Okay? So that might be a revenue goal. That might be a product-based goal. You might have something in there about growth and visibility. How are you getting yourself out there? How are you growing your audience? You might have something in there about the number of clients you've got. You might have something in there about how you're transitioning. In my business, I mentioned I have my Conflicted to Confident course. My focus is on that for the next 12 months. I'm going to be growing and scaling that, because when I sat down and did this exercise, that was the most straightforward way for me to scale my business to where I wanted to be able to scale. Does that make sense? And that then helped me define what those other goals look like. Well, I know now how many courses I need to sell every month. I know what sort of audience growth I need to see. I know what sort of email list growth I need to see. And those are what have formed up my top 5 goals. So pause it now and work back what you think those are. Now, the biggest thing is just start. Just put pen to paper and just, get it done, because you can come back and shift them. That's why we're doing this now. You've got till the end of December to really nail down what those goals look like for the next calendar year. Some of you might work in financial years, and that's okay as well. I actually do both. I work in both financial year and then calendar year, because there's just something weird in my brain where just January to December works really well for me in terms of how I frame stuff up. I get very confused when people start mixing quarters around. All right, so pause if you need to, but make sure you get those down. I also fill it out in your workbook. Sophie mentioned printing that out. Write it down. I strongly encourage you to do that. Physically get a pen and write it down, or get yourself a beautiful journal. This is my journal that I'm using at the moment. I've got all sorts of stuff in here. I scribble in it when I've got coaching calls with my own personal coach. I write down in there, and I find it works really well for me personally to have a journal that I write things down in. So whatever works for you, make sure you write it, because there's something that happens. There's this really tangible connection that you create in your noggin when you're physically writing something down. It fires off different neural pathways. It embeds it. It makes something more real. Okay, saying it out loud does the same thing. All right, on the next slide, we are going to get into... There we go. We're going to get into what you need to do this, and Soph's going to talk about it a bit more.
Well, that was awesome, because I think personally for myself, you get so fixated on your business goals and the importance of actually aligning them to well, what is it that you really want your life to look like? Because ultimately there's a reason why we work, why we start a business, why we have a family. It's because we envisage, right?
Envisage. Yeah.
This is what our life is going to look like. For me, when I was a young girl, I was going to marry this gorgeous guy, and I did, tick. But I was going to have these beautiful kids, and I did, and how our life was going to look. And part of that is the business or the work or, how I contribute to the world as well. So I love that you connect that back to your life goal, like your life vision. What did you call it? Your ideal life. I really love that.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we know that even though you can create all these goals, there are going to be things that get thrown in your way, obstacles. And, our little brain, we've talked about before in module 1, and if you've watched any of my videos or listened to me ever talk before, there are always going to be things that are going to knock you out, knock you down, pull you back, make you think, oh, crap, maybe I shouldn't do that. Oh, that was a really big goal. Maybe I'll just shrink it a little bit. It doesn't really matter if I don't, have that acre on the where you wanted to live. Maybe we could just have half an acre. Or maybe we could just stay in Melbourne but get a bigger apartment with a bigger backyard with a bigger veggie patch, right? You start to shrink your goals. Yeah. Because what happens is you get hit up with these little obstacles or big obstacles that come your way and you didn't see them coming because you can't. And that's life, whether it's personal, business, health, things happen. And that's why it's so important to really clearly map out what your ideal life looks like. So that when these obstacles come, you go, okay, I understand that this is just a challenge. And I need to figure out how I'm going to get over it. So what I want you to do, and you've got some space in your workbook, have a think about what obstacles might come your way. Because if you've been in business for a little while, you'll start to kind of see the types of things that, come up against you. But what might they be so that will help you to know, okay, well, when this does happen, how am I going to get up and get over it? Because something I talk about is, having that support around you to be able to pick you up. Because when you get hit, and I get hit, and Nicole gets hit, and you want to give up, and you want to quit, and you want to think, man, this is just too hard, you get yourself back up. Just hold on a second. Hi, Stella.
Oh, hello.
One more mentor, please. Welcome back. That was just a little, hello from my daughter Stella, but that's real. That's life for us. Hey, Nick, it just happens.
Totally.
Kids drop in, they're supposed to be napping and they're not. So, yes, obstacles, they're going to happen, guys. So, you've got to try and remove the emotional attachment from them. It's not the universe telling you that you shouldn't be going after these big goals. It is just that you need to learn something new to help you with overcoming it. Constant learning, constant growth.
Yes, actually that is so, so important. We allow these things that come in our way to mean big stuff to us when actually shizzle just happens. And you just got to learn how to get around it and through it. And when you get to the other side, the stuff that you work hardest to get to is the stuff you appreciate the most. I love that point. That's such a good point, Sophie.
I have this saying, like, it's not forever, it's just for now. When I get hit with things and it means I have to, work really late, like the other morning I was working till 1 a.m, but I know that it's just an obstacle. I've just got to get past this bit and then it'll be okay. And you know what? Then there'll be another obstacle. But every single time I'm getting over these obstacles, man, I'm learning so much. I'm getting so much better. I'm getting clear about what I'm doing. My content's getting better. The way I manage my business is getting better. I'm inspiring more people because I'm doing it as well. I'm able to help them. Like, it's all part of it. Take it on as a learning and don't write a silly story in your head that, oh, it's just, I just shouldn't be doing this. This is the universe telling me. It's not. It's the universe telling you need to learn something else in order for you to achieve the goal.
Love that.
So, so thinking about achieving these goals that you've just set up, so your big 5 goals for the year, what are some compelling reasons why you need to achieve them? So I love how Nick brought it back to your ideal life before. So really think about each one of those goals. Why is it important that you achieve them? So when you think about, you want to have X amount of clients. Let's say you want to have 100 new clients in the next year, just as an example. But why? What is having 100 new clients going to mean to you? That's like if you really truly believe that your product or service can change their life, can help them in so many ways, can help them have more time, help them grow their own goals, have a healthier lifestyle, whatever your business is, then make your reason why about them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to help them so that they can go and live your life, because that's going to help you get out of bed in the morning. But you know what doesn't, for me? Making money.
Yes.
Doesn't, and I know it's really important, but money doesn't make me get out of bed.
Ooh.
It's knowing that I'm making a difference. It's knowing that I'm creating this community for women where they've got each other's backs, because them sitting at home by themselves, you sitting alone by yourself at home, is not okay by me. That gets me out of bed. That makes me push on and work to 1 a.m. if I need to get something out. That's what's going to make me achieve my goals and not give up. So what is your compelling reason on why you have to achieve these goals? And I tell you what, it's not financial. It might be because it might be the financial goal might be there, but the reason why might be because that means I'm actually going to be able to leave one more day. I'm going to be able to quit my job and just do 2 days or 3 days. I'm not going to have to do 5 days, which means I'm going to have 1 day extra whole day to spend in my business and 1 whole day to spend with my kids before they go to school.
Yeah.
Right? What's that extra 1 day for the next year going to mean to you? Like, one of my big goals is I only want to work 3 days next year, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I can do some nights and once in a weekend in a month. But that's it, because I want to have 1 whole day with Stella and 1 whole day, extra day in my business, because she goes to school the year after that. Yeah. So that's enough for me to get out of bed, right? Nicole, same with you. Just figure out what your compelling reasons why are, and I hope those examples help. Now think about what resources or help do you need to get there. It's really important because, we spoke about, Nick touched on it before around, you need to understand what it's going to take for you to achieve those goals. What do you need to learn more? What systems do you need to put in place? What processes do you need? What support do you need? Does your team need to change? What is it going to take for you to actually achieve these goals? So it might be, I am going to hire an assistant. I have to. I can't be spending time on admin and managing my inbox and setting up appointments and stuff like that. Instead, I need to be creating content like this with beautiful people like Nick. I need to be having meetings with amazing people that we're going to collaborate and partner with. I need to be looking at how we're going to improve our systems as opposed to working in them. If I keep working in them, I'm never going to achieve these goals because there's only so much time in the day. And think about it. For me, it's all about your community. Who are you surrounded by? So if you've watched some of my videos before, we in Real Entrepreneur Mums believe that you are some of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Take a look around. Who are you spending all that time with? Are they going to lift you up? Are they going to motivate you, support you? Have they got your back? Do they understand what it's really like to do this? My friends don't understand me staying up to 1 a.m., but Nick does.
Yeah.
Right? Nick gets me. So when we talk, it's like, yeah, and then we share learnings. And what about this? What about this? All of a sudden, I'm motivating them off again. Yeah. Right? So who are you surrounding yourself by? All about community. It's why Real Entrepreneur Mums exists in the first place. All about community. And now you've got these goals. How are you going to keep yourself accountable? Because sometimes it is easy to just shrink your goal a little bit. Today doesn't matter if I don't do this. Oh, it's all right, I'll just do it tomorrow. Actually, it matters. So who's going to keep you accountable? Who's going to have your back? Who's going to support you when you hit your obstacles? Really, really important questions. Spend some time now going through answering those questions, because that's going to help you with before we move into the next session, which is all about the first 90 days. So we've done big vision, you've built your belief, we've worked out what your big 5 goals are personally and then also with your business. We've looked at how you're going to actually achieve those goals, what are some of the fundamental things that you need to think about. And then in the next session with Nick, woohoo! Nick's joining me again. We're going to be looking at the first 90 days because we're chunking it down again. Because even a 12-month goal, that's too big to be thinking about. You get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get overwhelmed.
We all get overwhelmed. So you've got to bring it down to 90 days. But that 90 days adds up to your 1-year goal, which adds up to your life goal or your 5-year plan. Mm-hmm. So that's it for this topic. Nick, anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, that's it. I'm excited to get everybody jumping into tomorrow's content.
Yes. And be sure to spend the time today. Like, these are little small things that won't take you long to go through, but really, really important to complete. Jump into the Pop-Up Facebook group. Let us know that you've watched the video and you've got yours. Share at least one of your big 5 goals with us so that we can see where you're going. And don't forget to ask us any questions that you might have. And we can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us for session 2. See you soon.
See ya.